Hey everyone, in this video we're looking at volume. So by the end of the lesson you are solving problems involving the calculation of the volume of prisms, cones, spheres and cylinders. Oh, and pyramids as well, so include that as well. So to be successful you need to identify the appropriate formula, substitute the values correctly and state the answer in the correct units. Volume is the amount of space a 3D shape takes up, so centimeters, meters cubed, and so forth. And when you have a prism, that has a uniform cross section, so it's like if you cut it in a certain direction, certain way, each one of those pieces will have the same base shape. So that formula is volume equals A times H. So it doesn't matter if you had a triangle or if you had any of these basic shapes. It doesn't even matter if you had, say, like a weird jelly bean shape. You extend out that, it would still be a prism, providing that you know what this A is. So that would be your prism. And one thing to note is capacity. So capacity is just another way of measuring volume. It's just that in a liquid form. So 1 milliliter equates to 1 centimeter cubed. So if you scale that up to a liter, that's 1,000 centimeters cubed, and a kiloliter, it's a meter cubed. So that's because it's 1,000 by 1,000 by 1,000. So that is those things there, and your volume formulas are here, which is what we'll go through in this lesson. So calculating the volume, start by finding the basic formula. So this one here, we have volume equals, because it's a prism, it's essentially like saying A times H. But in this case, because it's a circle, we can use pi r squared times H. And volume substitute in, our r is 50 squared. And the H is actually going to have to be converted to a centimeters. So just going to check that. So putting that into your calculator, you get this as a centimeters cubed. Just be mindful if you're going to do the conversions that it's not just divide by 100, it's a factor of 3. So that would be 100 centimeters equals 1 meter. If you have that squared, that would be 1 meter squared. And if you have that cubed, that's going to be 1 meter cubed. So times that by itself 3 times, and you're going to get a really large number. And then you can move your decimal place according to that. Okay, so with the triangular prism, you're going to have base, it's just the area of this, so you would have to calculate the area, and to do that you actually need Pythagoras' theorem. So that's going to be, I'm just going to call that the height. Height equals, or height squared equals the height equals the square root of 6 squared minus 3 squared. And the reason why it's 3 is because it's half of this, so it's 3 and 3. And H equals 5.196 centimeters. I can then now use that to substitute in. So volume equals AH, and the area for this shape is base height divided by 2 times H. You'll notice that there's 2 H's. This is for the H in the triangle, so we can call this like length if you wanted. It doesn't matter, you're using letters as variables. So V equals 6 times 5.1962 times 12, which is like the length of the shape, and that gives us 186.84 centimeters cubed. Cone. So this is something that would be a bit new for some of you. So volume of a cone is they've calculated it and they've done enough times, is going to be 1/3 of a cylinder of the same dimensions. So we have 1/3 times pi r squared h. So one of the things you'll notice is that this has a slope, and we will need to identify the height of this cone. So in order to do that, we use some Pythag. So we've got the height of the cone equals the square root of 15 squared minus 12 squared, which gives us h of 9 centimeters. And then we are substituting that value into this h here. So v equals, now if you're wondering, there's lots of different ways to see this. If you were to put this in your calculator, make sure it's like 1/3 times, and don't be tempted to use 0.333 because it's going to be an inaccurate answer. So I'm going to use pi times 12 squared times 9, and I'm actually just going to divide it all by 3, which is the same thing as saying multiply by 1/3. And the volume is that answer there. With your sphere, we have the formula, which is v equals 4/3 over pi r cubed. Again, straightforward. I'm going to go as 4 pi. Our r is 7 cubed, and I'm actually going to use a divide by 3, and then that way you can actually put that into your calculator. You can even put that in as like 4 times pi times 7 cubed divided by 3. Oops. Like that's what would happen, and that will give you this answer here as well. Looking at the pyramid, so just like the cone, so you see how it was like a full cylinder. This one here is a third of a prism of the same dimensions. So we can't find my mouse. So if we extended this up as a, say, that's terrible. You get the point here. If it was a rectangular prism, it would be 1/3 of a volume, the volume of a rectangular prism with the same dimensions of 11, 9, and 9. So using your formula, volume equals 1/3 AH, and the volume is going to be, so the area, if you have a look, it's a square base pyramid, and they're all 9 centimeters. So that's going to be, so its area of a square equals times 9. So I'm just going to substitute them straight on in. 9 times 9 times 11, which is the height of our rectangular square base pyramid, and divide that by 3. V equals then 297 centimeters cubed. Okay, so there you go. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 new-ish, so 3 new shapes, but maybe potentially 4 for you if you haven't done volume cylinders before, and just an application of Pythagoras as well into these 2 questions here. Okay, don't forget to do your homework questions on the homework section. Okay, thank you. Bye.